Oh yeah. Let's get started there, folks. I realized that I don't actually have the Pega website up right at this time, so give me a second. Let me sign myself in. Welcome back to another 2 p.m. PST Twitch stream. I'm your host, Strange Jim, and today we are going to be getting back into some Pega development, Pega learning. Then we'll be doing some chatting and video uploads for YouTube, and then after that we got I'll be doing a little bit of Genshin Impact because I'm really close to getting another um, um, getting one more attempt for the banner. So I'm gonna record that so that I can put it up on YouTube. Um, Then yeah, I won't put it as a YouTube exclusive. I want to make sure that you know people see that I attempted one last time to try to get you know uh, one of the 5 stars, but and then we'll switch on over to Warframe after that. So um, we'll see if Blackheart is going to be joining me on that, but again, um, we'll see. I'm not going to you know, uh, he's been reliable, so I'm not, you know, so I'm kind of expecting him to join me, but you never know. I mean, things come up, right? So, okay, we got the web page up and running, so let me go ahead and get this live. There we go. All right, so I'm also a little tired, so this is gonna be one of those days. Okay, so Um, one thing to kind of note about me is that I'm a software developer, or at least I try to be a software developer who's currently working his way towards getting himself the system architect certification. Okay. Um, so that's what this section of the stream is all about. Um, my focus on trying to get my way through the academy, learning as much as I can, trying to retain everything that I can, and getting to a point where I can take the certification and passing it so that I can have that certification so that I can put it on my resume and say, hey, listen, you know, uh, I try to do what I can to learn what I can to get whatever job I can, seeing that I'm currently unemployed right now. Um, it's just it can be so frustrating sometimes. But uh, so that's a little bit about me. Okay. A little bit more about what's going on here is that, while yes, I'm doing these streams to kind of work my way through the certification, it's one to kind of keep me on track on going for that goal. Um, you know, um, and it's also meant to kind of be, you know, uh, you know, not only potentially helpful for me in that, if I have questions, I'm hoping that someone that is a veteran of Pega will be watching these videos and will be able to answer my questions on them. Um, because there are some topics where, I don't know, I don't have all the answers, folks. I don't have, I'm not all knowing on Pega. Okay. That's why when it comes to these videos, do not consider me an authorized training partner, nor should you consider this an instructor-led training. Okay. I'm not all-knowing in Pega. I don't pretend to be. There's a lot of questions that I'm not familiar with, but I still encourage you to ask questions if you are watching this and you yourself is also trying to work through Pega as well. Okay? If you have those questions, feel free to put them in the chat right now while I'm streaming, or if you're watching this when I upload it, directly to YouTube on the playlist that I have for this, feel free to put a comment down. Ask your questions there. If I don't have the answer, then I will see if I can find some of my coworkers in the past or some of my teammates that I had in the past to look at it and see if, they can help out with an answer as well. Okay? So don't feel like um, you're alone. Okay? Um, I want to give you the idea. I want to I want you to know that, um, I'm willing to help you, figure Pega out as well. Okay? So, um, don't think that I'm just. I mean, if I was doing this for selfish reasons, I wouldn't be posting these videos up. Okay? So, um, I wouldn't necessarily care about anybody else. I would just be, focused only on myself, and that's it. Okay. So, I've answered questions in the past with others, and I have no problem on answering any additional questions because let's face it, folks, um, a person has to learn this from somewhere, from someone. You can't necessarily do it by yourself. Okay. I mean, there are a lot of smart people out there, but I mean, even then, they themselves, learned it from somewhere. So, you know, it's not like they magically, oh, I suddenly developed calculus all of a sudden. No, it's like, hey, they got training on how to do mathematics to the point where they could take their knowledge to, as that foundation to be better. So, um, I'm hoping that this is in some way a foundation for you. Maybe, I don't know. So, if you want to take the instructor-led training, then go right ahead. I find it expensive myself, so I can't afford it. Um, Not something that I can do. One would hope that the instructor-led training would be someone from Pega that knows everything that is Pega. The ins and outs, how to explain it very well so that you can retain everything that gets shown to you, that gets taught to you, that you have to do yourself to kind of get through the course to where, when you go and take the certification, you pass it with flying colors. That's what my hope would be for instructor-led training. Okay. Um, but if you do take that, make sure that you're getting your money's worth. Ask those questions. Um, figure out every little nook and cranny about what is being taught to you because believe me, you're probably going to be needing it for the certification. Okay. Um, you know, I had an authorized training partner that the majority of everybody that was with me pretty much went to self-study. It was not an ideal situation. A lot of us requested to go back into the course, but that was rejected. So yeah, this is where I'm at right now. So yeah, So, what's going on right now? Okay, so we covered, the first two missions. We got through those. Um, and as you notice, the first two missions on the system architect is the same first two missions for the business architect as well. Okay, and considering Pega platform 8.7. Okay. Supposedly they're going to be doing a revision of the business architect, which, believe me, I feel that they need it. Because there's two more modules left that I feel is very underwhelming for the business architect. So, um, and that's what we're covering for the last remaining portion of this. We got through the first two missions. We're going to finish off what's necessary for business architects, in that it's just two modules. Um, and then we'll take the business architect test, and then we'll go back to the system architect and continue on there. Okay. Now, if you are on the track for business architect, if you're trying to aim for doing the business architect, then do yourself a favor and look at Pega Express Delivery. Okay. Now, would you like me to cover Pega Express Delivery? Let me know. Because my goal is the system architect. Okay. I may try to do the business architect as well, potentially, but my main goal is system architect. I enjoy programming. You know, system architect falls in that line, so that's what I'm going to do. That's my plan. That's what my goal is. So, um, I may take the certification for business architect, but I really don't want to be one. Um, I have no interest um, in being the liaison between um, between business that doesn't know a single thing about programming versus the hardcore programmers. I don't feel like I'd do a really good job with that. I could be completely wrong. I might be perfect at it. I don't really know. But um, my goal is the system architect. So, but we're gonna go through the business architect, anyway, because I mean, even this might be helpful for the system architect. Who knows? Okay, so we're going to go through the backlog creation. This particular module is taking a lot of time. Technical architecture yesterday took 2 hours for the 20 minutes. Now, granted, I had a lot of side stories that I talked about, but I also had a lot of there was a lot of problems with the technical architecture. So, okay, so backlog creation. Let's get started on that, because it's saying that it's 10 minutes, but who knows how long that's going to be, or how much. It doesn't look very long, so it might actually be close to 10 minutes. Close. Alright, backlog description. The product backlog is a ordered list of project-specific work items, small or large, that are candidates for implementation. Using Scrum terminology, these items are referred to as user stories. Pega Express also uses the term epics to denote groupings of user stories. The user stories and epics cover a wide variety of types of work, such as ideas for new features or enhancements, application issues that require attention, work required to address technical updates. For more information about user stories, see the Pega Academy topic, User Story Readiness. There's another link that you might want to consider. Backlog details. You can use the case type backlog as output from the discover phase as a starting point for your project backlog. It already contains documentation for many of the items that become user stories and epics. Alternatively, outputs from your design strategy sessions, such as design sprint, are a rich source of innovative ideas. Results from both of the case type backlog and design sessions form the inputs necessary to fill the project backlog during the prepare phase. During prepare, the project team, with representation from business and IT, works collaboratively to add details in the case type backlog to create the draft high-level case types documented using Pega tools. This collaborative effort identifies the stages and key steps for the case type and associates detailed aspects of each case, such as interfaces and personas to the case type. This additional detail focuses the team on the functionality needed to deliver the business outcomes and provides a foundation for prioritizing the work. The following image shows how information recorded in the case type backlog and outputs from a design sprint serve to fill the backlog with draft user stories and epics. It'd be nice if I can maybe zoom in on the image here. Yeah, let me see if I can. Well, that's not great. They need a high resolution image. Oh well. Oh well. Alright, the key to creating your backlog is to understand that it can change over time. There is no expectation for 100% detail in the first draft. Your team refines the backlog as the team gathers more information and elaborate user stories over time. Your team gathers inputs from the product owner, business analysts, lead system architect, and testers. Creating your backlog requires a diverse range of viewpoints to understand what is important, what to prioritize, and when to deliver each user story. It is vital to work in collaboration when building and filling out the backlog. The interaction and discussions between business and project team members are key to a shared understanding. Backlog prioritization. Backlogs are continually evolving and changing over time. Ensure your backlog includes up-to-date user stories and prioritized in line with the business value the user stories deliver. New user stories may be prioritized over others, and some may be replaced. Existing user stories may no longer be needed and may be removed. Backlog management and prioritization is an ongoing activity that continues through all phases of the project. Information on prioritization techniques is available on Pega Community. Again, another link. The product owner owns the backlog. The product owner creates the backlog, keeps it up to date, and prioritizes the user stories. As at the start of the project, the product owner and the project team must agree on the management approach for the project and application work items. When making prioritization decisions, the product owner has a wide range of user stories. Some stories are elaborated and are well understood and ready for build. Others are still in the early stages of the user story lifecycle. This variety means that the product owner must consider both short-term goals for the sprint planning and longer-term goals for elaboration planning as they prioritize stories in the backlog. Approach the backlog with an open mindset so that your team can quickly focus on what is required now and can reprioritize the future direction of your application as business needs change. one would think that the business analyst would kind of be more the owner of the backlog, but because um, while I don't know, I mean you have so here's my thought line. Okay, I could be completely wrong about this. I mean, feel free to correct me. You know, if you're out there in the main business world and stuff like that, then feel free to say this is the reason why it gets handled this way. But here's my thought line, right? Um, Now let's say management says, "Hey, we need this new project for handling customers or something like that. We need a new call center software, okay? Because our old software isn't covering all the new products that we have or something like that, right? Okay. They're saying like, hey, we acquired a new company. We have all these new products that are coming in, and we need to have a better system to handle it all, right? So they hand it over to someone that is kind of, they hand it over to like, some kind of manager or someone like that to kind of oversee the project, right? So hence the project owner, okay, or product owner, right? But they're going to be kind of talking with like multiple different people to kind of handle multiple different, um, you know, uh, they might be overseeing a lot to try to handle the overall product, right? Um, when I worked for AT&T, um, when that's a little scary. Stream elements just popped up again. Hmm. I'm hoping that my internet connection is still okay for the most part. Okay. So, um, so when I worked for AT&T as a contractor, they had a lot of things that they needed to. They had a lot of subgroups that handled different portions of their overall category of their products, right? Um, and obviously, I was a contractor for one of those, right? Um, but you know, the one would think that the product owner would be someone that handles all the different groups, you know, and would be like, okay, they're kind of the ones in charge of like of like the meetings and handling. They might be like they might be kind of working as well with like maybe one of the subgroups, maybe, but one would think that they would be more, at the manager status, they're handling, um, time cards, they're handling, uh, they're making sure that um, each of the teams are working, on track. They're keeping things on track. They're given you know, uh, you know, a timeline of what that team is going to need to do to in order to get that portion of the product done, right? So they'd be like looking at it and going, "Are you doing? are you handling that? Um, but you know, is that you know, so you know the product backlog is an ordered list of project-specific work items, small or large, that are candidates for implementation. Um, wouldn't that more fall in lines with the business architect? Because they're the ones that, like the project manager would be basically be saying, okay, this one group needs to handle, setting up the user interface. This other subgroup needs to handle everything in the database. This other subgroup needs to handle everything that's on the web page. Whatever, right? Um, but would they, would the product owner really be, um, would the product owner really need to know every single last user story? One would think that the business analyst, who basically talks with the product owner, would be the one that's kind of more in charge of the backlog and handling the user stories. They get what they need from the product owner. The product owner is going to be saying, hey, we need to kind of get this working out. Business analyst takes that, goes, okay, I get what you're trying to say. I understand what you're kind of looking for. Let me talk with the lead system architect, and we'll, work out what needs to be done. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. But here's the thing, um, you would think that, that falls in lines of the business analyst because, um, you know, they're going to be the ones kind of working with the lead system architecture, uh, or lead system architect to work out the architecture of their entire project, and in a sense, creating the user stories, and in a sense, creating the backlog. So, wouldn't that fall more on the business analyst and not the product owner? You know, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a new person coming into Pega, so I'm not sure. I don't know where the division of jobs falls in. They're saying that the backlog is something that the product owner handles, but it would seem that it would be a little bit better for the business analyst to be kind of working more on the backlog. Seeing that it handles the user stories, and something that the lead system architect and the business analyst works together to create. I don't know. Not sure. I can only make that assumption right at this moment in time. So I don't have that high level managerial experience to be definitive on that. So um, I'm just looking at it from what I'm kind of reading from the business analyst. Knowing that they need to talk with the lead system architect, knowing that they have to work on with the lead system architect to build the architecture of it all. You would think that they would be the ones that are kind of making the user stories that fill up the backlog. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure. So um, Okay. Um, Let me read this part again. Product owner owns the backlog, and then product owner creates the backlog, keeps it up to date, and prioritizes user stories. At the start of the project, the product owner and the project team must agree on the management approach for the project and the application's work items. When making prioritization decisions, the product owner has a wide range of user stories. Some stories are elaborated and are well understood and ready for build. Others are still in the early stages of the user story lifecycle. This variety means that the product owner must consider both short-term goals for the sprint planning and longer-term goals for elaboration planning as they prioritize stories in the backlog. Approach the backlog with an open mindset so your team can quickly focus on what is required now and can reprioritize the future direction of your application as business needs change. So, check your knowledge with the following interaction. The lead system architect owns the backlog, and that is false. So, check your knowledge with the following interaction. Product owner should prioritize the backlog only after enough stories has been fully elaborated. Um, no, because they need to prioritize the backlog pretty much all the time. Alright. Because they're filling it up with user stories. So, well, that's going to be it for this section. I'm looking at user story readiness here, 20 minutes, and I'm, already. This is one that is going to be again probably another 2-hour video. My God. Can they not split this up? I fear that they could probably maybe put this in their own and this in its own module, much less a single topic. And once again, all this and a single question at the very bottom. I mean, the previous topic had, you know, all this and 2 questions. It's like, oh well. Alright, so that's it for today concerning Pega. Obviously, today's a short one, but I don't want to put in more time on that next topic because that next topic is going to take a lot longer than what I want to, put into a video. I already did a 2-hour video yesterday. I don't necessarily want to try to do that again, but it's gonna probably look that way. So we're gonna go ahead and close on down for today's Pega study session. If you are liking these videos, if you're watching me right now, I want to thank you for being here. No chatters today, but that's okay. I still appreciate those of you that are, just lurking in the background. Thank you for being here. Um, for um, for anybody that is watching later on, when these videos do, get uploaded to my Pega studying playlist, um, feel free to, do the standard YouTube thing, the like, subscribe, and all that. That would be fantastic. Would, would help me out a lot, obviously. Also, um, Feel free to check out the links in the description. Um, Social media is there. The team robot that I created for streamers and non-streamers alike. Um, Feel free to check that out if you want. Feel free to leave any kind of comments, questions, praises, concerns, um, clarifications, whatever. Okay. Um, you know, Please be, you know, constructive and helpful. I always look forward to those comments. So, um, and I still appreciate those that are just like, thumbs up, you know, nice video. I appreciate those as well. All right. But that's going to be it for today's video. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. But until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy, stay safe. I'll catch you strangers next time. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.